Hello, trading is closed on November 9th, 2022. We always do our disclaimer first. It's my trading plan for November 10th, 2022. Please remember I can be completely wrong. Any trade you make should be at your own risk. Yesterday I said I looked for the pattern with the early high, which is this. Tomorrow should have the early low. This tends to be a rally day. If it fails, there's a straight line drop, just like that one. I said I hated to make a prediction in front of a big news event like the election, but it looked negative to me. Here's what we said. I can't claim credit for it. I can't say I'm hesitant to make a prediction and then claim I did. So let's just say this was a paper trade that worked. Right now we have this big drop right down to support from these prior highs. Let's take a look at today's MEJT patterns. MEJT doesn't trust this drop. Gives us a target of 3787.71, close to 40 handles over where we closed. And unless we gap down smartly, that's my call. Usually when you have a pattern like this that's a bullish pattern, it's negative, the drop isn't over. So that calls for lower prices. The MEJT target calls for higher prices. So we have conflicting signals, and we'll use the mixed signal rules, which we'll go over in just a minute. Now, I'm not certain of the count here, but let's look at one count which might explain things. Again, there's no guarantee this is correct. But if you count from the October low, you can have an A, a B, and a C. You could then have an A, a B, and a C. C is equal to exactly half of A. This low is a 78.6% retrace of the last drop, and it's also down to the 61.8% level of the whole rally. So there's good Fibonacci support at this low. Let's take a look just at this last drop on a 5-minute chart. Well, here's today's drop, and if that's A and that's B, C is equal to A. So we have good Fibonacci support right at today's low. Let's see how this fits in with the bigger picture. Well, we had this as gray A and gray B, with C equal to 0.618 times A. But what if C is equal to A? That would take us all the way up to 4177.99, right there. And what's interesting is if all this Fibonacci stuff, which balances out at today's low, works, and if that's A, and if that's B, and if that's C, you would get A, B, C, with C equal to A, essentially at the same price, 41.80. None of that has to happen, obviously. It's not the only count. But there is good Fib support here on multiple time frames. There is a higher target, and so far all we've managed to do is to go back to prior support. Doesn't mean support has to hold, but it means that bears happen to stop this decline at a very inopportune place, which doesn't make a convincing case for further declines. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but there is strong support right here. So we use the mixed signals rules. Today's pattern has the early low, Thursday's pattern has the early low, could still gap up. Signals are mixed. It's negative. Today's normally bullish pattern was not bullish, it was bearish. Typically leads to further declines the next day, even if we don't close lower. But if we gap and promptly overcome today's high, which seems like quite a stretch, but you never know, that would kill the pattern. What's positive is we have a higher target. Unless we gap down smartly, the rules call for it to print. There's a wave count which says the decline from the recent high is a completed pattern. There's no assurance it's the right count, but if it's the right count, we should rally pretty much right from the open. And we won't know that until tomorrow. The economic report due before tomorrow's open makes a strong gap possible. It's one of the commonest things here. So, we stopped right at support. I don't know how we're going to open tomorrow, but if we gap up and take this high out, pretty much in a straight line, which certainly is not a lock by any means, but if that happens, you can make a case for the year-end rally starting from here. Of course, if we gap down here, I'm going to look pretty foolish, but I'm just saying that's one possibility. If we do gap up and start moving up, I don't think I'd stay with a short. Tomorrow has the early low, we could gap up, and that's today's call.